Om. Om.
ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
Bhagavad Gita, Shankara Bhasya, chapter 18, verse 55 Bhasya. Read the verse 55.
भक्त्या माम् अभिजानाति यावान्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम्।
Jnana Nishtha. Para Jnana Nishtha was equated to Para Bhakti. The one who has got Para Bhakti was described as the fourth type of Bhakta, Ajnani, in the chapter 7. From the means given in 51, 52, and up to 53, we have come to know now that this Jnanasya Paranishta, the finale of knowledge, is gained by becoming Dhyana Yoga Paraha. And Dhyana Yoga Para is the one who constantly maintains Atma Pratyaya to the exclusion of Anatma thoughts, Anatma Pratyaya, and thereby makes the mind get absorbed in the Atma Swarupa. And that state of absorption in the Atma Swarupa, wherein mind is nothing just like Atma only. It appears like Atma, and you are aware of that without being the aware of the Tripoti way of being not there. So, by this Parabhakti means by this Jnana Nishtha, Bhagavan said, one can know me, yavan yascha. How vast I am in terms of upadhis and my glories, in terms of omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, and with ananta kalyana guna, the glories in terms of so compassion and love for everyone. One can know at the same time, yahachasmi, who is me in reality, vidvasta sarva upadhi, free from all upadhis, means me, Paramatma, Bhagavan, with the expanse of upadhis and in reality free from upadhis. We can know. In this context, the doubt was, there is a contradiction. What is the contradiction? Any entity is known by jnana, means that antakarana vritti corresponding to the entity to be known, jnana vritti. You see a flower akara vritti thought has come in your antakarana, you know the flower. But what are you talking this? That by jnana vritti, not known, but by repeating jnana vritti, you can know. That's what it means. By parabhakti knows means by jnana, para jnana nishtha knows means what? By repetition of jnana vritti knows, but not by jnana. The contradiction. So this was pointed out here. No. In the case of Atma Jnana, there are certain problems arising on account of the unpreparedness of the mind of the mukshu to the total specification that is required. And because of this unpreparedness of the mind, by such repeated dhyana, not that repetition gives the knowledge, by repeated dhyana, that antakarana becomes totally prepared to reveal us, our swarupa, in its reality, and that state of antakarana, which is totally capable of revealing our swarupa, is called as what? Atma Anubhava. And this culmination in Atma Anubhava itself is called as Jnanasya Paranishtha. The culmination of Jnana, the steadfastness in the Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, Bhagavad Jnana. So, we don't mean that by Jnana Vritti, Avritti of Jnana Vritti doesn't give knowledge, but that Jnana Vritti leads to the state of Antakarana in such a way that it gets that Atmanubhava, wherein Atma Swarupa in reality is known. This should be very clear. Read that. Yadatmanubhava nishchayavasanatva tasya.
यदात्मानुभव निश्चयावसानत्वं तस्य निष्ठा शब्दाभिलापात्.
So, when Shastra says Jnana Nishtha or Paradjnana Nishtha, it means that avasanatvam, culmination of what? Nishchaya, certainty, ascertainment of Atma Swarupa, born of Atma Anubhava. Born of Atma Anubhava. That is why even in Sutra Bhashya, Brahma Bhashyakara draws our attention to the fact that besides Shruti and Yukti, in gaining Atma-jnana, Anubhava also serves as the pramana to gain knowledge of Atma. Anubhava-avasanatvat bhutavastu vishayatvacha brahma-jnanasya. Brahma-jnana culminates in Anubhava. This is what Atma Anubhava. Why? Bhuta Vastu Vishayatva. It is the knowledge about an entity which exists and not simply exists, is in the purview or is in the range of our experience. The rule is the direct knowledge of any entity which is available for experience should necessarily have that experience tallying with, corresponding with the entity to be known. If you want to gain the knowledge of a rose held in front of you, you should have that impression of the flower which you are experiencing in terms of your antakarana, because any antakarana vritti, the moment it surfaces in the mind antakarana, obviously, automatically it is experienced. So, here is a rose available for experience. So, your pratyaksha jnana, direct perception of the rose, must necessarily have the experience of rose experience. Now, let us say fire in front of you is available for you to experience. But the same fire yonder the mountain is beyond the sight of your eyes, you can't see. But you are seeing the smoke. Thereby, inference, there is fire. But you have not perceived the fire. You have inferred the fire. So therefore, when the pramana is inference, it only ascertains the existence of that entity, but not the direct knowledge. In the case of Atma, Brahman, it is ever existent Chaitanya Tattva. It is ever existent pure awareness principle. It is ever existent pure consciousness principle. It is. And it is also available 24/7 for our experience, because it is self-evident. Swaprabha, Swaprakasha, Swayam Jyoti. The rule is an inert entity needs a pramana to know it, but a self-evident entity doesn't need pramana to know because it is self-evident. I am. You are not taking any pramana. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. No. Obvious, I am. Then why Vedanta? Because you have committed error. You are knowing yourself, which is self-evident, in a wrong way, which is not the truth. That mistakes need to be set right. Please note, Vedanta doesn't reveal you Atma. Vedanta sets right your wrong notion about Atma. That being the case, at final level, when ignorance is eliminated, pramana stops because pramata no more there. When pramata is not there, pramana prameya are not there. What makes you know yourself? Swaprabha, Swayam Jyoti, Swaprakasha itself gets revealed. So therefore, this Jnana Nishtha means that Atma Anubhava makes us know what our Swarupa is, and because of these problems of obstructions, etc., it is not possible to know thoroughly as it is, in spite of the so-called Jnana Vritti, or otherwise called as Akhandakara Vritti, or Atmakara Vritti, Brahmakara Vritti means these vrittis are of different grades. Grades in terms of its conformity to the actual real nature. To what extent they are able to conform and they appear exactly as it is, that depends. So this Jnana Vrittis can be Manda, that is what, dull, Madhyama, mediocre, or Uttama. In the case of Uttama, wherein the Mukshu has got perfect Shuddha Antakarana, and because of Upasanas, Chitta, total Chitta Naishchalya, for him, Bhashyakara says, Dragiva, just like that, Atman Bhava takes place. You know what it is? It is just like a heap of dry gunpowder. One spark is enough to blast it off. But if that gunpowder is damp, you have to go on trying until it becomes dry. That is the problem here. Why Jnana-Nishtha is required? Because it's just like your Antakara, that damp gunpowder as it were. It does take blast, but it is dry, it is damp, wet. So this, what is the avritti? Jnana vritti, repetition of jnana vritti is to make the mind eligible totally. From that standpoint, it was told that jnana vritti, which culminates in the jnanasya paranishta, described as parabhakti, by that Atma, Bhagavad Swarupa, Brahma, can be known in its reality. So with this now, what is that? That Nishtha needs what? These two means. What are those? Paripaka. Paripaka, intense, mature, fruitful. What is it? Swatjnanasya swatmotpatti hetu. The means that produce Atmajnana plus paripaka hetu. Jnanasya paripaka hetu. The means which make that jnana well established, steadfast, for which jnana vritti is required. So therefore, this is not a defect. Continue. Shastracharya.
शास्त्राचार्योपदेशेन ज्ञानोत्पत्ति परिपाक हेतुम सहकारी कारणम बुद्धि विशुद्ध्यादि अमानित्वादि च अपेक्ष जनितस्य क्षेत्रज्ञ परमात्मैकत्व ज्ञानस्य कर्त्रादिकारक भेद बुद्धि निबंधन सर्वकर्म संन्यास सहितस्य स्वात्मानुभव निश्चय रूपेण यत् अवस्थानं सा परा ज्ञान निष्ठा इति उच्यते.
Further, he explains in detail what is expected to have that paradnya nishta, which is atmanubhava. He further explains now like this. What is it? Now, Shastracharyopadeshena, by the Upadesha, teaching of Shastra, teaching of Acharya in accordance with the Shastra. With Shastra, Adhyatma Shastra, Upanishads, etc. Apeksha is that. Apeksha means depending on. Depending on what? Based on the teaching of the Acharya Guru. See, more often than not, in such cases, Bhashyakara uses the word Acharya and not Guru. Of course, Guru is used, but more often that Acharya. Because Guru needs little further qualification with respect to the Shishya, disciple. Acharya is the one who has studied Shastras and conducts oneself in accordance with the Shastra. He will keep you on the right track of Shastra, avoiding the possible pitfalls or straying away from the main path. So from that, Acharya Upadeshana. Based on that, having accomplished this, what are those things? Jnanotpatti paripaka hetum apeksha. Depending on your accomplishment of Jnanotpatti hetu, Jnana paripaka hetu. Hetu, the means of birth or producing Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. Again, the hetu, the means, sadhana of paripaka, steadfastness, sthirata in that Atma Jnana. So that hetu, apeksha, depending on that, having got them, for which few other means are required. What are those? Sahakari karanam, auxiliary means. Sahakari means associate, complementary, supplementary. So, Sakari karma. What are those? Described here in the verse 51 onwards. Buddhi Vishuddhyadi. Or it need not be that. Those plus Buddhi Vishuddhyadi. Buddhi Vishuddhi is Shuddhanta Karna. Adi for Chitta Naishtalya. This. Also, Amanitwadicha. Gita chapter 13, Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, etc. 20 values. Practice of them. Cha apeksha. Depending on these, we mean having these. Janitasya. The knowledge is born. What type of knowledge it is? Kshetrajna Paramatmaikatva Jnanasya. Knowledge of identity between Kshetrajna, Jivatma and Paramatma, identity of that, which is born having got this. What is it? The well-developed Paripaka. Well-developed means that produce Atma-jnana. Well-developed means that make that Atma-jnana sthira, steadfast. Sthira Pradna, etc. also. So up here, Jnanasya. And again, that knowledge should be like this. Kartradi Karaka Veda Buddhi Nibandhana Sarva Karma Sannyasa Paitasya. That knowledge free from all karma. Sarva Karma Sannyasa Sahitasya. Sahita, along with, coupled with. Sarva Karma. All karma. What are all karma? Kayika, Vachika, Manasika. Physical karmas, oral one, and mental one in terms of upasanas. So that is what. So why sarva karma? Because these karmas are of such nature. What they do? Kartradikaraka Veda Buddhi Nibandhana. All karmas have got what? Nibandhana. Interdependence. Or they are interdependent. They are caused by what? Karta, the doer. So that is what karta, the doer. Karaka, the doership, karta, kartra adi. Kartra adi, karaka, the agents of action. Five factors told now. Adhishthanam tata karta, karanam cha pratagvidam. Then what? Prana pratishreshta and daivam cha atra panchamam. In the 18th chapter. The 5 aspects that go in the making of any karma. Which have got Bheda. Bheda here means duality. Dvaita, which are full of duality. So Bheda, Bandhana, interdependent on these, caused by all these, of that karma, of entire such karma, sannyasa sahitasya. Having given up means this person is a sannyasi who has given up the karmas. Of course, he has made use of karmas to get Shuddhanta Karna. But now he doesn't need them. He had grown out of that necessity. Therefore, he has given. Why? Because these karmas make him preoccupied in this doing. So to say. And that avasana, culmination, in what? Swatma anubhava nishchaya rupena. In the form of ascertainment, certainty of Swatma Anubhava. That's aparoksha Sakshatkara, wherein Chinmatra Spurana is there. That self-evident Chaitanya in its true nature, without the mixing up of Drishya, Jagat, is there. Even that objectification is not there. And that experience is not colored by, not mixed with Drishya features. Attributes of Drishya, Adhyasta is not there. Adhyasta features means they will be there, but you are out of their cognition. Svatmanubhava Nishurpena Yat Avasthanam. Whatever that is, remaining Avasthanam, remaining. Earlier it was told Avasanatvam, culmination. Remaining here, Sa, add Eva, that only is what? Paradnyan Nishtha iti Uchyate. It is called as Paradnyan Nishtha. So, to get rid of that lack of readiness of the Antakarana to have Jnana Paripaka, the steadfastness, sthirata in Jnana, it is all removed along with the karmas, because karmas also create obstruction, vikshepa, agitation of the mind. And karma means you are doing duality, where Advaya has no locus standi. So, having got rid of all these, that remaining of this called Jnana Nishtha. And now Bhashyakara points out this Paradnyan Nishtha is what was described by Bhagavad as the thing gained by Jnani, the fourth type of Bhakta in chapter 7. Continue, Sayam.
सा इयं ज्ञाननिष्ठा आर्त्रादि भक्तित्रयापेक्षया परा चतुर्थी भक्तिः इति उक्ता.
Sayam, same one, which is described now as Jnanishta in chapter 7. Sa, that one, this is the subject. What was that there? Artadi bhakti trayapekshaya. Apekshaya, with respect to bhakti traya. The three types of bhaktis. What are those? Artadi. Artha, one who is in distress. Artharthi, one who wants the things here and hereafter. And Jidnyasu, the one who wants to know the reality of me, Jagat and Ishwar. Still not got knowledge, but he wants to get that. With respect to this, it is what? Para. Beyond them, it is superior. And therefore, it is what? Chaturthi Bhakti. The fourth type of Bhakti. Iti Ukta. So you get the equation now. Para Jnana Nishtha is, this is what? Para Bhakti, which is gained by Jnani. Jnani means what? Explained as Vishnu Tattvavit. One who knows the reality of Vishnu. Then that Vishnu, if you take as Mahavishnu of Vaikuntadipati Mahavishnu, it's Tattva. What is Tattva? Vyapaka, all pervasive. Mahavishnu is in the Vaikuntha. reclining on Adishesha. But his tattva is sarvavyapi, of that tattva. So jnani says, आर्तादि भक्ति त्रयापेक्षया para chaturthi bhakti, more exalted, the fourth type of bhakti, iti ukta. So it was told in the chapter 7. Continue.
तया परया भक्त्या भगवन्तं तत्वतः अभिजानाति.
So by that para bhakti means by this para jnana nishtha, both are equal. Bhagavantam, the divinity principle, Bhagavad Tattva. Tatvataha, yathartha, yathartataha or yathartha, exactly as it is. Abhijanati, directly one knows. And he says, after such parabhakti, after gaining such parabhakti or paradnyanishtha, only the erroneous notion of oneself different from Brahma Atma gets totally ended.
यदनन्तरम् एव ईश्वर क्षेत्रज्ञ भेद बुद्धिः अशेषतः निवर्तते.
Tadanantaram eva. What is tadanantaram? Tattvataha bhagavad jnananantaram. After gaining the knowledge of Bhagavan, how? Tattvataha, in its real nature. See, something you can know in general, but thorough knowledge is something more. For example, let us say, there were 100 chairs. All chairs are full. People are sitting on it. Somebody asks, hey, how many people have come? You say there are 100 people. Why? There is not a single vacant chair there. All are full. This is samanya jnana. But if you are asked the name, preoccupation, address, and many more few things about every individual, you will draw a blank. You don't know. That is Vishesha Jnana. Thorough knowledge. Of course, much more things. It can be still further. It may be there's some samskaras, etc. It can go on like that. There's thorough knowledge. So here says Tattvataha. In reality, not simply like that word. Atma is avasthatraya sakshi, panchakosha atita, etc. But you should be directly aware of it as all-pervasive Paramanda Swarupa. Taya paraya bhaktya bhagavantam, divinity principle. Tattvataha, yathartha, as it is. Abhijanati, one who knows directly. Then Bhasya points out, only after gaining this knowledge, the hitherto wrong notion of I am different from Ishvara will go. Continue.
यदनन्तरम् एव ईश्वर क्षेत्रज्ञ भेद बुद्धि अशेषतः निवर्तते.
तदनन्तरमेव यदनन्तरमेव means तत्वतः भगवद ज्ञानानन्तरम एव ईश्वर क्षेत्रज्ञ भेद बुद्धि. The notion, wrong concept of difference, being different entity, who are they? Kshetrajna and Ishvara, Jiva and Ishvara. So that is how Ishvara Kshetrajna Bheda Buddhi, the wrong notion of duality, Asheshataha Nivartate. Asheshataha, totally. That shows if this Paradnyanishta is not there, if this Atmanbhava is not there, that person has not totally discovered himself to be identical with Ishvara Swarupa. So this being the case, the final answer to that Purvapakshi is given. What you say is not correct, because from what you have seen so far, because of the necessity of gaining Atmanubhava, that by vritti he doesn't know, but the repetition of vritti, which culminates in that ready frame of mind, wherein his appreciation, cognition, or experience of Atma Swarupa is very, very clear. So that's why it says, Ishvara Kshetrajna Bedavadi Asheshataha. Asheta means in Paroksha Jnana, not totally. Here, totally it gets ended. Nivartate, it ends. Now you review why Bhashyakara was repeatedly telling. Even the case of Vijnana, Jnana Vijnana, says that subjecting what you have discovered in Shravana, Atma Vichara, subjecting it to what? Anubhava. Visheshataha Tadanubhava. Tadanubhava. Experience of that Atma Sarupa, not just like that. By what? That readiness of the mind, Visheshataha. With that totally ready mind, making it exactly like Atma Sarupa, Visheshataha. Also Asheshataha. Visheshata means Asheshata also means totally. Nivartate, the notion of wrong notion of duality gets totally ended. So therefore, there is no contradiction. Continue. Ataha.
अतः ज्ञाननिष्ठा लक्षणया भक्त्या माम अभिजानाति इति वचनम न विरुध्यते.
So therefore he concludes the answer. Ataha, because that's what you have said so far. Jnana nishtha lakshanaya bhaktya. By this para bhakti, which is characterized by jnana nishtha, that firm abidance in the Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. So by that, bhakti means para bhakti. Mam abhijanati. The mumukshu knows me thoroughly. Abhijanati. Iti vachanam. This statement of Bhagavan, whatever. Na virudhyate. it doesn't get, it is not contradicted. Means the contradiction that you pointed out, how can you say Jnanavritti doesn't make one know, but repetition of Jnanavritti makes it known? Not that. Repetition of Jnanavritti only means sadhana. For what? To have that Atma Anubhava. Atma Anubhava, that is the experience telling with Atma Swarupa in reality, even free from the Drishya Jagat that we encounter in the waking and the dream state. To make this clear further, Bhashyakara cites many passages from Shastra as a corroboration to justify it. Read.
अत्र च सर्वनिवृत्तिविधायी शास्त्रं वेदांत इतिहास पुराण स्मृतिलक्षणं न्यायप्रसिद्धम् अर्थवत् भवति विदित्वा व्युत्थाय अथ भिक्षाचर्यं चरन्ति.
Atra. Atra means what? What was told earlier now. By Jnannishtha only. In other words, by Para Bhakti described here only. See, others are Sadhana Bhaktis, Apara Bhaktis. Navavida, they are ninefold. But this is Para Bhakti. So by this Para Bhakti, which is equal to Nishtha in Atmajnana. So Atraja Sarvam Nivritti Vidhayi Shastram. All Shastra means all statements which are told in the Vedas, Upanishads, Smritis, and still other, the Adhyatmic Shastras. Atra Sarvam Nivritti Vidhayi Shastra. All Shastra which recommends or enjoins. What does it enjoin? Nivritti. What is Nivritti? Withdrawal, ending of all karmas. Nivritti Vidhayi Shastra. Vidhayi means that which enjoins. All Shastras which enjoin the withdrawal from the karma. Shastram, what are they? Namely, Vedanta means Upanishads. Vedanta stands for Upanishad. Itihasa, the epics, like his history in the sense Ramayana, Mahabharata. Itihasa. Then Purana. Puranas, one of the prerequisites is that it has to describe Srishti or Utpatti. Of course, Sthiti and Laya also is there, depending on the individual's capacity. So, Itihasa, Purana, Smritis, text based on Shruti Vedas, but in a different style. Smriti Lakshanam, characterized by this. Nyaya Prasiddham. Nyaya Prasiddham means Nyayam, totally given to reasoning. It is not something not given to reasoning. So Nyayam, Nyaya Prasiddham. Arthavat Bhavati becomes meaningful. You come to, oh, why they are told that you become because of this. Arthavat Bhavati. For which few quotations are being given. Viditva Vyuthaya Bhikshacharyam Charanti. Viditva means having known. Having known what? Having known Atma, but how? Parokshata. Parokshataya. Indirectly. By the study of Shastra, they have picked up something. Oh, Atma is like this thing from Chaitanya, etc. So that by such vague knowledge of oneself. Viditva, that is, after having got the paroksha jnana, indirect knowledge, vyuthaya, having discarded, having risen up, having got freed from what? Eshanatraya, three desires. The categories given by Shastra, which includes all our innumerable desires. Vittaishana, Putraishana, Lokaishana. Vittaishana, desire for wealth, etc. Why? Putraishana, he has a desire for son. Olden days, because son used to ensure his future heaven, etc. by performing his daily duties and thereby pleasing the deity, performing daily duties and thereby pleasing the deities. Thereby what is to pleasing the deities. So thereby what is to do? He is to try to accomplish the fulfillment of different type of desires. So now here's what is done. Vyuthaya, having risen up, having grown out of this necessity of Putraishana, Vittaishana, Lokaishana. Vittaishana, let us take first. The desire to have wealth, not from today's standard, khao piyo maja karo, no? Those days they want to do yajna yagas, for which money is required. So there, from that standpoint, having earned putra means marriage comes there. Desire to marry and have children. Putraishana. For what? Lokas. The heavens, etc. hereafter. For which the sun also has got a role to play. So with the Lokaishana, to gain the heavens hereafter, So from that standpoint, having got rid of these three desires, having got grown out of these three types of desires, Vithaya Bhikshacharyam Charanti. They take to the life of a bhiksha, means they take to sannyasa. This shows total withdrawal from karmas, which are full of the duality and pursuing that duality. This is from Brihadaranyaka 3:5:1. Next is from Mahanarayana Upanishad. Mahanarayana Upanishad, chapter 2, and mantra is 79. What is it? Tasmad nyasam esham tapasam atiriktyam ahu nyasaha eva atyarechaya. Tasmad, from all those, many means were given there, sadhanas were given there. With respect to all those, tasmad, esham tapasam nyasam. Nyasa, giving up of all what etam tapasam, because there in the Mahanarayana Upanishad, before this statement, different types of tapas, ascetic practices are given. Compared to all those practices that are given from the, with respect to them. Atiriktam aho. Atiriktam means excelled, surpassed. Whom they say Nyasaha eva atiriktam ahu. They say Nyasa, sannyasa of all karmas is something which is most exalted, excelled. So, who says? The Mahanarayana Upanishad says. How it says? Nyasaha eva atyarechaya. This is where exact it said. Nyasaha eva. Sannyasa only is what? Atyarechaya. It excelled all other means that are generally taken to. Iti. So this shows that, of course, further quotations are there, wherein the giving up of all karmas which create agitation in the mind, so that the mind can be made shanta, free from vikshepa, etc., and absorbed in the Atma Swarupa. Few more quotations are there. We'll see that.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ